Are you serious? Do you know what this means? Bay Area cities lost power due to miscommunication, says the state regulators. Some customers in Palo Alto, Alameda lost power briefly Tuesday night. They are separated by a bay. Let's go back a minute here. Remember this morning I went ahead and posted an article about sometimes there just isn't enough. You need to build up an infrastructure around the people that are going to be using it. There's just not enough right now. And we know that because we're told there's not enough homes, we're in a drought, and we're going to experience rolling blackouts due to shortfall in electricity. It's imminent, they tell us. And yet, news about California Bay Area cities is miscommunication. And you know what? I think what they did here is they spelled corruption wrong. It's called corruption. And you know what this absolutely is? This is not one, but two middle fingers pointing directly at us is what it is. The total control and power they have over our entire lives. And again, this is just a reminder, because when the full grid goes down, that means no money from ATMs, they won't be working. No money from no gas from the pumps because the pumps won't work. No withdrawals or usage of credit cards, you have to have cash. You may or may not be able to get into stores because a lot of those doors are electrically aligned. And if they can't get them open, how about in your house on days like today, where it's only stating as being 96, but look at yesterday, 111 up to 114 in the area. This is control. And this is why Governor Newsom's push to only sell electric cars in California by 2035 is absolutely stupid. One, there's not enough. Two, electricity can't be stored like other forms of energy. Three, it creates a tether. If you can only go from charging station to charging station, how far are you going to get on a 200 miles per mpg? Or 93 in some cases, and some are getting wider, but you get my drift. And four, what if you don't happen to be one of the privileged individuals who can pay an extra $10,000 or $15,000 to have an electric car that just went up another $7,000 because the government gave another credit, and the automobile companies are so interested in supporting this that they just added that into the price and bumped it up another $7,000. So if you're not one of the privileged that has the extra cash sitting around just to buy into this electric scam, then you also may not be one of the individuals privileged enough to live in your own home with the place to plug in your car, because you're not going to be able to always go to the Target parking lot and plug it in. Not all work places have it. And of course, apartment buildings, for the most part, do not have charging stations. So if you're a renter in an apartment building, it's not an option to run a power cord all the way from your house down to the parking lot. There's no feasibility with this path. And now we understand a little bit more about the corruption that is occurring. And now the fingers get pointed, right? This is what I've said all along. Good will win over evil. Not necessarily because of anything on the good side other than its patience, its love, and its trust in God. But the evil will implode on itself. This comment that it was an accident, it was miscommunication, it was them, it wasn't us, we didn't do it, is exactly what we're seeing here. Bay Area cities lost power due to miscommunications, and this is what state regulators are saying. So let's read a little bit more here. Palo Alto, despite sweltering temperatures, testing the capacity of the state's electrical grid. California largely avoided rolling blackouts Tuesday. Now that's not true. There were a number, but not to the level that we were told they were going to be, just in time for cooler weather. So why did several thousand people in Palo Alto, Alameda, and Healdsburg lose power? Healdsburg as well. These are three cities all on opposite points of a large bay. They're not even right next to each other. Those Northern California cities and others may have inadvertently, oops, my bad, initiated rolling blackouts in error following a miscommunication with the California Independent System Operator Tuesday, after it declared a rare, very rare stage 3 emergency. The 3 cities are part of the Northern California Power Agency. And I will point out, I'm not familiar with the politics in Healdsburg, but Palo Alto and Alameda are just as blue as they come. The 3 cities are part of this consortium of locally owned electric utilities based in Roseville, which ordered the blackouts. Somebody, a person, said, flip the switch, cut them off. Elliot Manzer, CEO of the ISO, said Wednesday morning that his agency, which manages California's power grid, never gave utilities the order to begin rotating blackouts on Tuesday. Hey, hands up, it wasn't us. We didn't do it. He said that the Northern California Power Agency misunderstood an ISO order to prepare for possible rolling blackouts. Hey, it was a misunderstanding. We gave them advice. They misunderstood. It's on them. It's not on us. There was apparently some level of confusion between our dispatchers and their dispatchers about what was being requested. This is not an error that ever should happen. There needs to be clear communication. Otherwise, it is not a misunderstanding. It is called corruption. We need to we did not need, nor was it our intention to signal the need for rotating black outages, he added. We'll work with them to ensure there's no communication tonight. The NCPA did not immediately return calls on Wednesday. Manzer said he thought about 5 communities were affected in Northern California with a total of about 45 megawatts of power that the NCPA inadvertently requested its members to shut off. That is a tiny, tiny bit. It's not even that much of a problem of the statewide demand on the grid, which reached 52,000 megawatts Tuesday night, an all-time record. About 1,700 people lost power in Palo Alto Tuesday during a brief outage that lasted roughly 35 minutes before we realized, WTF did you do? Turn it back on. Palo Alto Utilities Department spokesperson Jordan Cowman said the city was one of the several utilities across the state who were formally asked to shed load or reduce power, which is as clear as it can be by the NCPA. Palo Alto followed all protocols that had already been agreed upon, negotiated. Everyone sits for meetings, bureaucracy lays out a process. So they started down the process because they were told. But Cowman said it seems like there was confusion coming from the regulatory side. We followed everything very, very, very much to the letter. This was not us. It wasn't me. It was them. This is just inexcusable. This is pointing fingers. It is not called miscommunication. It is called corruption. And once again, they're right in your face, bold about what they're doing while they're laughing all the way. Meanwhile, to escape the scorching heat, I went over to Pacifica right there off the coast to get a breeze. And there was a private plane. And it was probably about a 300 passenger plane. It was very, very large. And you could tell it was private. It was also way off the flight path. And they slowed down over the beach and went just up the coastline. It was a private tour, wasting all of that fuel and energy on a day where to conserve power, and on a day that, oops, sorry, my bad, we're going to shut off your electricity. This is California. We hear that we're the leader, and yes, we are, because I guarantee your state is to follow. This is a sad world we live in, and all I can do is say, hey, it wasn't me.